Hello, everybody. How's it going tonight?
Hello.
Hello, Miss Dottie. Hey, Cher. Hey,
Hi.
Sunny. We're all
Hey guys.
super excited about today. Like we have, and the thing is like me and Sunny have been covering this. It's a crime and shame. And I was looking on YouTube earlier, and her videos and my videos are like so. It's good to have you with us tonight. And we are streaming on here, and somehow we're streaming over there. You guys know how I do with the Slimucast. I don't really know what the heck it is, so it's either got to be Sunny helping me or Chaotic Beauty and Crime. So weird, this is something that we were not ready for. Like we didn't know this was going to happen today. I was told about it on Tuesday from the prosecutor, but he had asked that, like kind of mums the word until sometime next week. But obviously he changed his mind. He must be as excited as we are, right? That's all I can think.
Yes.
So we're here, and I'm going to just briefly read you. It's a short article, and I'm going to read that. And then we're going to talk about Ray a little bit. And then, you can ask any questions that you have of Miss Dottie and share. Obviously, they're not going to be able to answer quite a lot, and I will play referee with what I think they can answer and what they can't. But if you have questions, now's your time to put them in the chat, and we'll try to get to them. But I'm going to go ahead and read this article. If I could only find it on Facebook, how about you? Were you able to find it on like Google, like
Facebook. It
just
was
Facebook?
on that news and review. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So is it just like a Facebook?
Well, it showed Discord up in the corner. But
Ah,
I mean the person that posted it, if you Google her name, she's up there. I was actually trying to find it, but it's one of those things is that I don't think it's widespread yet on say Google, which it will be soon enough.
right. All right. So I'm just going to read this real quick before we get started. Grand jury indicts man with murder in the 2019 death of Charles Ray Hainish by Amy Graham McCarty. A grand jury has returned a true bill charging Garett Kirts, formerly of Lebanon, with 1 count of murder and 2 counts of theft in connection with the 2019 death of Charles Ray Hainish. Hainish's body was found in a Reynolds duplex in March of 2019. The coroner ruled Hainish's death a homicide from asphyxia due to ligature strangulation. Hainish worked in Monticello as a nurse at the time of his death. Kirts is currently serving a 50-plus year sentence in the Indiana Department of Corrections for the murder of Nicole Bowen in Newton County. Her manner of death was ruled strangulation. Hainish's death was investigated by the Indiana State Police, who turned their findings over to the then White County prosecutor, Bob Guy. This week, current White County prosecutor Mark Delgado called for a grand jury to review the case. Quote, "To my knowledge, this is the first time a grand jury has been called in White County," end quote, Delgado said. Quote, "At least this is the first time for the entire time I've been in White County," end quote. "A grand jury is different from a jury," Delgado said. "It is comprised of citizens, but is secretive. What is discussed in the grand jury cannot be shared publicly to protect the integrity of the case." Quote, "A grand jury just simply decides if there is probable cause or reason to believe a crime has occurred, as opposed to a jury that decides guilt or innocence," end quote, he said. Quote, "Prosecutors can file charges in 2 ways, via a true bill, through a grand jury, or through an indictment. Once a grand jury has deemed that there is cause for charges, the prosecutor then reviews the information and moves forward with formal charges. We anticipate this is a quote, "We anticipate the prosecutor's office will file formal charges next week with a hearing shortly thereafter," end quote, says Delgado. Delgado says he plans to use the grand jury process more often moving forward. So, yeah, this does, like we need to be careful with how we word things, but this is, it's been since 2019 and no movement. Mark Delgado, the prosecutor there in White County, he just got into office in January, Sonny? And then now we see, when I talked to him, he said that, like they're moving forward. He's been working on this since before he was the prosecutor. So his team have been diligently working for justice for Ray. Finally. So hello, Miss Dottie. How are you today? You doing good?
I am. It was kind of a different kind of day. I had a lot of jitters, but it went really smooth.
Good. And we know you can't talk about that, but I know you want to come on here and just thank everybody in the Facebook group. We're gonna, oh goodness, I hope right place. There is a Justice for Ray Hainish Facebook group, and I'm going to share this live there. And then I'm going to drop a link for everyone to join the group. It has been, I know for you guys, do you want to say anything to the group members? Miss Dottie, I know that was important to you.
It is. I can't thank everybody enough for the love, support, the prayers, and staying with me for the entire 4 years. It's not like you just came on and then disappeared. You've just been a marvelous support for me, helped me with so many bad days, give me hope that things were going to get better, and knew that I had backup and support all the way. I just want to say thank you so much for all that you have done for me personally.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride. And the group has been, a really consistent, nice place, a soft place to land for you guys. And I'm really happy that we had such good members and mods. We've got, they just do a great job in that Facebook group. And, yeah. So I am going to grab the link for the group and I will share it in the chat.
Yeah, Southern Ladies was asking if more than just GK, Garett Kirts. They can't really talk anything about what's going on. And what, Dottie?
I'm sorry. I a little bit. I got good volume, but my hearing is bad. I'm sorry. Could you ask that again?
No. Someone was just asking was if there's more than just Garett Kirts. But I know that you're not allowed to be talking about the case in a sense of if there's any other charges, or that will come out in the future, I'm sure, if there is.
Right. Well, Mr. Delgado, I think, put in his statement of what the charges are going to be. He's really moving forward. He's done great. He kind of upped the charges from what the previous prosecutor was going to do. So that's a blessing. That's a blessing to us that the charges are even better for us than what they were with the original prosecutor, if he ever decided to take the case to the court.
Right. Richard Guy, I think it was something Guy or whatever it was. But I'm so happy for you.
Robert.
Oh, that was it.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, he had 4 years to do it and did nothing.
Yeah, and then like what he told you was like, if I remember correctly, he had told you, Miss Dottie, like in one of your guys' meetings, he was just kind of dismissive and like, well, if he says anything from, behind bars, then maybe we'll do something, maybe we'll have enough. And we all knew that just, it was like really passive then. And I think we all kind of still feel the same way, but you know what? He is retired and old news. So we are looking at, just overjoyed. He's been, they're looking to charge him next week with murder. And in Indiana, we have murder, intentional murder, and then we have manslaughter. Robert Guy was only willing to put out that maybe we could charge him with manslaughter. And we all knew that was not justice for Ray. And that just wasn't enough. It was intentional homicide. And in my opinion, he was targeted, which makes it a hate crime because he was found on a dating app. They found Ray on a dating app. And this is all stuff that has been known to the public. And we just couldn't get him to listen. So, and I know that Sunny's been preaching the same thing on her channel, and we're just overjoyed.
I am just so happy for the family, so happy for Ray. I literally got the chills and shivers because it was such unexpected news. And just the other day when I was thinking about Ray, I was like, I wasn't sure if he was ever going to find his justice for the family. And it just saddened me so much because I just wasn't sure. So I'm like, it's such a sad, tragic event that happened to this family. And I know that they've dealt with a lot. But it's like, I'm smiling because finally the family has got someone to work properly with them, and charges are, being laid, and justice should be served for Ray Hanisch, whatever the outcome is. Like, we all obviously know that Garett Kirts is innocent until proven guilty, blah, blah, blah. But it's so nice to know that this case is moving forward the way it should have before.
Right. This is a message for you guys. Thank you, Lake. Sending hugs and prayers for Cher and Miss Dottie. We all didn't know Ray, but we all love Ray. And I was just making a intro video.
Yeah.
I don't have one. And I have Ray in it. And it was a quote from Ray is what I put it on it. And I want to read it really quick because I think you guys, we want to hear you talk about Ray a little bit. But I want to share this quote that I had found a long time ago when I was on Ray's Facebook page. And this is a quote from him. It says, "Be careful as to not leave permanent scars on someone else's heart, Ray." And that when I, like that just, I think embodies who he was. And it's such a beautiful quote, of like, we go through this life and every person that we interact with, we leave them with something of ours. And when you spread love, you get love. And that's what Ray was all about. And that's why, what Lake said is so true. We didn't know him. I didn't know him, but I feel like I do because his sisters and his mom and everybody's done such a great job. Can you guys tell us a little bit about Ray? Hey, Cher, do you want to say anything? I know you don't like this very much, but everybody loves you here. The chat, you're always here supporting.
Yeah. Sharon, do you want to speak up?
Well, I don't really know what to say.
Okay.
He was my brother, and he loved everybody, and everybody loved him, and it was, just a shame that this had to happen.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Unnecessary. Just so full of hate.
At Ray's services, we weren't able to have a viewing because his bruises were too intense to be covered up. So
Right.
They didn't feel it was fair to have a viewing.
Mhm.
But they had to open up 2 extra rooms for the people that had come to pay their respects. It was just wonderful. Some said that they had to park over a block away and walk, up
Oh,
it.
wow.
It was just an outpouring, and all of the sweet things. People, I had no idea who they were, but they told me they worked with Ray 30 years prior. and they came to just pay their respects and tell me what a wonderful man he was.
Right.
You know, a mother always feels that about her child. But when you have people coming up to you one after the other telling you what a great man he was, what a special person he was, that is just so heartwarming.
Yeah.
I had someone text me that her mother was in the Lafayette Veterans Hospital. And she said when Ray was on duty, she never had to worry about her mom because she knew her mom was going to get the best care possible. And she said one night that the nurses were all going to get pizza. So he said, come in and ask them if, you know, they wanted to share it with them. And she said, oh, no, thank you. You know, we've already eaten. And said Ray ended up coming in with pizza for them anyway. She said
Aw.
he just was the most empathetic, compassionate person. So it's, you know, I got stories after stories from people that I had no idea who they were, but they introduced themselves to me through text or at the viewing, the services, and just, you know, one after the other, that he was just a caring, compassionate person.
Yeah. He didn't leave
Dottie,
scars. He left love on people's hearts.
yeah. Can I just say, to me, Dottie, and Cher, and Mal, but as soon as I saw Ray, he just exudes this light of beauty around him. You can literally see what type of kindred spirit he is. And every time I look at him, even to this day, I just, you know how you just, it's like a big light is coming across. And yeah, absolutely. You know, you just see it, you just feel it. You know, you can always tell when someone is just, you can just see the light, like I said, the aura of them around there. And every time I look at him, it's so tragic. It's so tragic. But obviously, I'm happy that we're hearing this today because Ray, that beautiful man, and the family deserve the justice for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is a little bit of what I've been working on for Ray. It's a couple of the pictures, and then Sunny made a beautiful thumbnail for the video as well. But you know,
Yeah.
like your light remains. This is Miss Dottie and Cher here, and Miss Cheryl. This is Nicole Bowen's mother, sweet, sweet woman who's been there. These two women have been, you know, just as Nicole, she got her justice, and this is the same case that Robert Guy said you could just share her justice for Nicole, and just let that be the justice you get for Ray.
Right.
And we said no, thank you. His family, you know, they fought for him just as he fought for so many people. And we're finally, that's starting to come to fruition. So it's just a very exciting time. There's not a lot we'll be able to talk about, you know, especially once the probable cause is released. I will, you know, we'll get that, and we will share those things. How do you guys feel about a you know, moving forward? Obviously, this is the grand jury has decided that there's enough to indict him with murder and 2 counts of theft. Do you like, how are you feeling happen to see Garett Kirts again in court? And like, are you ready for, I know what all we went through during Nicole's, you know, seeing him all of those times that he was there, and during Ashley Garth's murder trial when he testified. Like, how are you guys feeling about, are you ready to look him, like what's going to be the thing that keeps you with the most hope moving forward?
I don't know. I thought about it, you know, coming face to face, although I saw him many times in the courtroom for Nicole.
Right.
But this is, you know, for Ray. And I'm not sure just how I'm going to react to it. I'm going to go through it. I'm doing it because Ray has to have justice. He deserves justice. everybody deserves justice. I don't care who they are, what they've done, but no one should get murdered and not have justice for it. And
Exactly.
yes, it. I will go through what I have to go through to see that Ray gets justice.
Amen. And this
Exactly.
Garett Kirts confessed to this um, a long time ago. You guys knew about it by what was it, September of 2019, August, September of 2019, when you were told that, hey, somebody has confessed in another county. We had talked to. It's just
Hmm.
kind of crazy, and that's where you were posting on his Facebook profile. That's how I kind of found you. Like Ginger, Nicole Bowen's aunt was like, "What's going on? Like, can we talk? Can you talk to them? Like, what should we do?" So it's been a long roller coaster of a ride, and it's definitely been upsetting, and I don't know. I'm at a loss for words, to be honest. I'm at a loss for questions. I'm just happy. Um, I know your guys' hearts, and I know how you have just what all you've had to go through, and it's been. I'm proud to call you guys my friends, and I love you both so much, and just a really great family, and it's sad why we're brought together. Um, I hate to even say a silver lining because it's never enough. You should be able to have your Ray with you, and I wish he was here, and I hope that this upcoming charges and whatever happens from there on out, whether he takes a plea or it goes to trial, I hope that you guys know I'll be there with you and answer any questions. And I'm going to fight to get you a victim's advocate within the prosecutor's office. That's going to be my first question for Prosecutor Delgado, is because there are victims advocates, and you guys, if you have one of those, you'll be up to date and know everything that you need to know from the courthouse. I think it took Miss Cheryl how long to get one? It was like a year and a half in, you know. So
Mel, can
that's
you
one thing.
explain that to people that have no clue what you're talking about?
So it's like you can have, under Indiana law, there is each a victim's advocate. So if you don't need, you can, if you're a live victim of a crime, or if you are the family of a victim that a crime was perpetrated onto them. So you can have kind of a go-between that they work in the prosecutor's office. Some smaller ones share the job with, they also have different roles, but under Indiana law, they're required to keep you up to date so that you're not finding out about court dates from the media. You're not finding out about updates to the case via me. You're finding out straight from the prosecutor's office. And, once Miss Cheryl had hers through the Newton County prosecutor's office, like things started to go a lot smoother for her. So it's something that we're definitely going to like get you guys in contact with whomever that person is. But yeah, it's basically just a victim's advocate within. They will do the go-between between the family, and sometimes the prosecutors will keep in contact. Some prosecutors don't like to. Like, if you guys remember what the Newton County prosecutor said, he's like, I don't feel like I can do my job to the best of my ability and speak with the families on a regular basis, because I need to be able to distance myself so that I can try this case to the best of my ability. And then after the trial was over, like they had such a great talk and with the prosecutor there in Newton County, So sometimes they like to kind of distance. It's just safer as far as the outcome of a trial. We don't know if this is going to go to trial. Garett Kirts took a plea agreement. He took a plea in the murder of Nicole Bowen, and he received, I think it was 55 years, which is the, about the average
55.
for
Yep.
murder in Indiana. It's the recommended sentence for intentional murder. And the thing is Kirts murdered Nicole very shortly. It's an unfortunate, it's always been just such a punk kid, and then he's just terrible, and I just wish they'd never run across each other's paths,
Correct me if I'm wrong here. March 13th was the date you guys found him on the February 17th, correct?
17th,
but it was
the
13th it happened. Yeah, Nicole Bowen's was like March 31st. Is that correct though? The 13th, right? And the reason I'm saying the 13th is because, this is, like I said, this number just travels everywhere. But it was the 17th, and they never deemed it as a crime scene. And it's been so sad to know that these events have all happened to the family, but through it all, they fought for justice for Ray, and hopefully that days finally come for them, that justice will be had. And Garett Kirts, he's a little snake. He'll probably plea bargain something or another out of this. I just like I said, just want justice for Ray, no matter who's involved or whatever. Just justice for Ray. He deserves it.
Yes, he does. And then he's never gonna see the light of day again.
No.
And then to go for the extra charges, those are okay. So in a murder case in Indiana, murder is just intentional killing of another. That is literally what Indiana code title says, is just intentional murder of another. And then then you can also add aggravating circumstances. And so the thefts would be aggravating circumstance to the intentional, which is pre-planned murder. It is you intended on killing this person. You saw out to kill them. You premeditated the crime, the murder. So you went into it with forethought, and then you executed your forethought plan onto another human being. And there's just I got to be really careful. There's so much you just can't say, but this was just a cruel, very cruel murder. And so by adding the theft onto, those are considered like aggravating circumstances. And so, that he's pushing for an even stiffer sentence on top of the recommended 55 years for murder in the state of Indiana is awesome. And I do hope that they consider charging him with a hate crime. Because I think this is just my opinion, if you seek someone out from a community, I wish we had CJ here with us to talk. I know I saw her chat, post a comment up there. So Rainbow Crimes, if you're here, thank you so much for your help. We were talking about it backstage. You are awesome. Your podcast is awesome. And thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I know Cher and Miss Dottie, thank you too. But yeah, we're just all kind of trying to get our bearings tonight. So tell me to shut up, please.
Absolutely. I mean, the love that the two of you have shown us it's just so heartwarming to us. It helps, gives us hope that somebody believes in us, somebody believed that Ray deserved justice and have fought to help bring that about. So our thanks go out to both of you, twofold, because you've just been amazing for us.
You know,
I think we get as much out of it as we give, you know. And I got you too. I got you. I got Roxy. I got Cher. I got the rest of your extended family. So, you know, like,
I mean, this case is Mel's baby. You know,
it really is.
I didn't know that until I was already looking into Ray because of the Delphi case, and then I came across Mel at some point, and then
I kind of gave you a little bit of hell too. I get feisty about the Ray, you know, like it's just kind of like what's going on, and then you ended up doing so many beautiful like tribute videos for Ray and his family, and like keeping his name out there, and your channel has grown so big. So I'm glad that we're able to like, hey, it's a Crime and Shame family. You guys see me in the chat all the time. We love you. We know you guys are all so happy tonight, and thank you, Aspen. Wish you were here with us, Mr. Diva, but that's okay. You're over there. They didn't think I'd be able to figure it out, which they're totally right. I wouldn't have been able to.
No, it was more Adam too. I was like, I don't want to complicate this, because if Adam really wanted to, he could put it on pause right now, and he could hop over on the link, and he would just pause the thing, and let the live run its course while he was hopping on this channel if he wanted to. But it's just hard to explain that. And we were kind of in a rush because we all just talked. Because really, I just want to, if you don't mind if I say this, like, this information wasn't supposed to come out, and it was released early. And so for me personally, I would rather hear you guys hear from the horse's mouth, from Ray's family, than all speculation and all that stuff. So, it's out there. We know how things go through the internet so fast, and there's nothing more, heartwarming to me, because this is their brother, their son, their sibling, their nephew, all those different things. So I'm very grateful that you did decide to do this live tonight, because again, it's just appropriate. It's justice for Ray, and nobody can tell the story like you guys can. I mean, I'm just trust me, Mel's the baby of this case. Yes, we've been covering it. When I look at Ray, he was the epitome of just someone that every time I looked at him, my heart just broke for the family, for Ray. And like you, Dottie, doesn't matter what you've done in life, whether you are a good person in life or whatever, everyone deserves their justice when something wrongful has happened to them, regardless who it is. And Ray just always stole my heart, every time I thought about him. And he was a big part of my thinking always, and you guys, because I remember what was said about the other prosecutor or whatever, and it just was so wrong on so many levels. Ray Hanish needs his own justice. He's not like Nicole got her justice. Ray needs his now. Garett Kirts, he's like at the pinnacle of everything. Now, just to ask you one thing, because it's been said in chat, at no point have they been able to connect Ashley Garth to this besides her phone being there. Is that correct? Only because Adam was asking and a couple other people there.
Do you want to answer that?
I'm sorry.
Do you want to answer?
Cher, we need to hear you speak up a little bit here.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's just speculation that she was there since her phone was. But from what I remember, Kirts was strangling her to get her phone. So who's to know?
Yeah.
Right.
I was able to she was on Facebook as Ashley. And before she deleted her Facebook, I had screenshot and this is just my opinion.
You're lagging.
Her phone was there. Am I lagging?
Yeah, just a bit.
Oh yeah, I just seen my drop down. Is that better now?
Yeah, well, you're better now. You're a little pixelated, but you're good.
Yeah, I need to hold still. I never hold still, and then it just can't track me. But so I'm trying to remember the timeline. I think it was in February of 2019. Garett Kirts strangled Ashley Garth. And the news article stated that he strangled her and then would revive her and then strangle her again. And he did this several different times. He was being charged in, was it Carroll County?
Yeah.
With the domestic violence, like domestic battery. And so she says that he took her phone, like like it was over her phone. So this is what's in the probable cause. This is what's in that case file for that case. And then, so I think with her posts, like she seemed to be really, I can't remember exactly. I'll have to go back. It's in the podcast. If you guys go back and listen to the episodes, the Ray playlist, I have a whole playlist of all the episodes that I did for Ray and his family. And I definitely anal. So I covered the whole, everything, like every court document, every criminal history, all of it is on that playlist there. But yeah, so I don't think that she was there. I think that I think that the only person that murdered Ray is Garett. And I think that he, from what you guys saw yourselves, that don't you think that he threw parties there, which is just horrible to think about, but there was evidence when you guys went in. Is that correct, Miss Dottie? Of like somebody threw a party there.
Yeah, it was. Yes.
I remember you telling me about, I can't remember if it was you or Shara Roxy, but about the Ray did not smoke in his home.
No.
And there was just cigarettes everywhere and trash and a bullet and the cell phone. These are things that have been known to the public for years now.
Mm-hmm.
And, it seems like he threw a party. He killed Ray and then stole his TV, stole his car, and he stole his life, and just the most disrespectful piece of shit person ever. Gosh, I can't stand him.
No,
I hated seeing him in court, his smug face. I don't know about you guys, but he's so gross, right, Ivy? Ugh.
When in Kurt's case, when you murder somebody, you take that person's life, but you've taken the lives of that person's family too. We survived, but he has just devastated our family. Yeah. So taking the life of one person is just not taking the life of one person. It's just devastating the family members. And, there could be no justice for that. And nothing's ever going to take away the pain and the heartache. But he has to pay for that. He has to pay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And Cher, I know you want to come in here too and tell the girls how much, you appreciate them and the gratitude that you have for them with all that they have done.
Oh, of course. They become like family to us.
Yeah. Feel the same way.
We don't. I mean, there's not enough ways to express our appreciation for them.
Yes.
We appreciate you. You've been, and the thing is like Cher, everybody knows her. She's my shark, she comes in the chats and I put a little shark in there and, cause that's just, she's become a part, loving this community, this YouTube, little world we've got here going on. And, it's been a long road, but do you guys have any last questions or anything? I know it's late, so we don't want to keep them too long. And we'll definitely, subscribe to both of our channels. If one of the mods can drop It's a Criming's link, I would really, really appreciate it. And then, we're going to keep you up to date. We're not done. I've never been done. I still follow Ashley Garth around in the appeals process. I'm not done with her,
Yes.
and I won't be done with this for a very long time. And I don't go away from things. I think that's something that we can all agree about me. When I sink my teeth in, I
Right.
really bite down hard. So you guys can't get rid of me. And I'd like to see you try. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah.
What I would like to add in here is that, sometimes we get discouraged with God's timing. We pray and we want him to answer right away. But God blessed us by not answering us right away, because had he answered us, Kirts would have only got charged with homicide. But by God in his infinite wisdom of timing, waited until there's a new prosecutor, and now Kirts is being charged with many more charges, harder charges, more violent charges.
Yeah.
And so waiting on God's timing, we may get impatient, but in the long run, we reap the rewards of God's timing.
Yeah. Like I hadn't even thought about that, but you're right. Like we were all, like, you guys had gotten to the point of just like desperate for him to be charged with something. And yeah, amen, Miss Dottie.
Yes.
Deb says. And Lisa, like, I feel you. I know that some of you guys have been around. Incog, Lisa, D. Ashley, I saw she was in here earlier. All names, like, we've Ivy Push in Ivy Rose, Southern, everybody's just been here and in the groups and for Ray. And I know that it was shared in some of the Delphi groups because Ray pulled on their hearts as well, in the Delphi community, the different Facebook groups for Justice for Abigail Williams and Liberty German, is just, and so one of the admins had shared. That's how I saw, well, Sunny had sent it to me, and then I immediately get a notification from Amy, one of the admins in one of the Delphi groups on Facebook, and they're like, Mel Roberts, question mark, like, what is going on? And I'm like, what? Like, no one's supposed to know about this until Monday, like at the earliest. What is happening?
I did want to ask Dottie and share something about that, actually. Are you allowed to say, like, what day did you hear about this and how did you feel? It's like, obviously you've been talking, but what day did they literally come to you and say that there's going to be charges laid against Garett?
Mom, you'd have to answer that one.
Did they
Sunny, if you had that question for me, I apologize. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Jared, did you say something?
Me to re-say it again?
Well, my hearing is bad, and the hearing specialist says, it's women's voices that are soft. I have trouble hearing, and Sunny has one of those voices. It's just something different in the tone that I have trouble hearing. So I don't really, I really don't understand sometimes or hear well the questions that you are asking. So I'm not ignoring you, or, I'm definitely not being rude, but I'm just not hearing the question.
She was asking,
what I asked was, and I'll think there must be a lag. What did you hear
Now
the
she's
news
cutting up.
that Garett Kirts? Am I cutting up?
Mm-hmm. Now your
Am I
face is
lagging now?
You
all
were.
cray. I can't. It's like every other word. Now you're froze. Darn it.
Did you hear what I was asking though, Mel?
I did. She was wanting to know how long, like when did you first get the news that they were, moving forward with a grand jury? Can you speak to that at all?
You know what? It was a few weeks ago. He had called, and Mr. Delgado had called and said that he had investigators on the case looking, for evidence and more information on Ray's case. And he said someone from his office would be contacting me with more information. And it was about a week later, I got a call from someone in his office that said that they had a grand jury set up, and I was going to be subpoenaed to be one of the witnesses. So it was within the last, I would say, 3 weeks that we found out the information that there was going to be the grand jury hearing and information, more information, I guess, evidence that they had collected.
Yeah, we met with the prosecutor and the investigators on the 14th. And that's when they told Ma that the 23rd is when they were doing the grand jury.
Yes.
Yeah. So the grand jury came back, maybe Prosecutor Delgado wasn't prepared for the grand jury to come back so quickly with a yes indict, because sometimes they can take longer. In the other case that I'm covering, they've had a grand jury impaneled for like 3 years.
Oh my.
Yeah. But this is a different type of grand jury than that. There's different types, and there's different stipulations in different states as well. I'm not going to try to claim to understand it all. I'm just glad that. So basically what happens is the prosecutor presents his case, and and they're looking for that a jury of your peers would find enough without any doubt that this person committed the act that they're charging him with. So they just want to make sure that it's just a way that the system can work. And I think grand juries are phenomenal. I don't know why more counties don't use them. And I think that yeah, he did at the very end of Prosecutor Delgado's, I hope I'm saying his name right.
Yes.
But I think that, he had even said that of like, I plan on using
Sounds right.
grand juries more often in moving
Right.
forward in White County. And I think when I talked to him on the phone, he was just like, it was just like a breath of fresh air, of like, dealing with Bob has just been not a fun trip. Just not a fun guy, not a fun guy. But,
No.
this guy was just like so sweet, and he didn't have to, reach out to me. Like, and I just thought, like just overjoyed at since Tuesday. I've just literally been like my family's so sick of me because I couldn't tell anybody. So I've got to tell, the one person that like my kid and my man, like I told them because it's like they don't have anybody to tell. Like they don't care about true crime in the least. This is my baby and they support me. And like I got to tell them I didn't even tell them about the grand jury. I just told them that I got a call from the prosecutor about one of the cases that I've been covering, and he was so nice and just uplifting and like such a nice man, and that he's been working hard for Ray and he's hoping to give him justice. And that's what he told me on the phone. And so I got to tell them that, and they were like, just, like, okay, sounds awesome. But my daughter remembered Ray, from all the times that I've talked about Ray, and like, she knew, it's impacted. And like, I really do what you'd said earlier, Miss Dottie, about, when someone is murdered, it's not just, there are these families of these murder victims, they do not want to be here. They do not want to be the murdered person's family. You don't ever want to be the victim's family. And no one deserves to be murdered. And everybody that is murdered deserves justice, and their own justice, not to be shared with anyone else. I think that is something that Miss Dottie has, and Cher and their family has been working for all this time. And it's looking like the time is now, it's just, sound is better all around. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I give credit to Mr. Delgado. Things went smooth,
100%.
I think, because he had done a thorough investigation. He had all the information that was pertinent to the case, and it was just laid out step by step for the grand jury. And I think that's why it went so smooth with them today.
Yeah. He, I'm glad you guys have him now. And I think that, I'm still going to reach out. I might reach out to him tomorrow, since, like, this news was dropped tonight. And he gave us a statement, and just, he said I could, he had told me to wait till Monday, but, I'll call tomorrow, and, we'll keep everybody up to date. Right now, he has been, the jury, moved forward and said that he should be indicted for murder, intentional killing of another. We don't have levels of, like, Indiana does things a little differently. So if you're from a different state, you're probably used to murder in the first degree, murder in the second degree, murder in the third degree. Well, in Indiana, we have just plain old, it's just called murder, intentional killing of another. And that's what he's been charged with, not manslaughter, not any kind of, this is the highest charge that he can be charged with in the state of Indiana. This is the biggest one that you want, the one that he is guilty of. And allegedly, I guess we should say, but I don't think I use that very often. He's confessed to this already, and it's been a long road to hoe, but he's also been charged with theft, 2 counts. They indicted him on 2 counts of theft. So what will happen is next week, the prosecutor will write up a charging affidavit, a charging document, and then it will be filed with the judge will review that. And then obviously the judge does, hopefully they agree with the prosecutor. Most of the time they do. And there will be a probable cause affidavit released, and a charging document, more than likely. They may seal that. Sometimes that happens. But we will see a charging document show up in my case. I would say maybe into next week by, anytime really it's going to want to get that in, and then, they'll just move forward. And this just gives the prosecutor the confirmation that if we move forward and we do this now, that more than likely a jury of Garett Kirts' peers will find him guilty in the murder of Ray Hainish, And so they did, and that's, more than likely what's going to unfold in the next few weeks. Will just be trying to keep everybody up to date. And I just ask that you respect Miss Dottie. They didn't ask to be in this position. They don't want to be here, but they are. And they're here because Garett Kirts ended the life of their son way too soon. And they just need some space, just they're trying to wrap their head around this. There's not a lot more that can be said at this time. So we just want to, let them know that we're here supporting them. And they wanted to say a few words to you guys. Ivy had a question. I don't think theft is, I don't think that's in the, I know what you're asking, Ivy, but I don't think so. It is an aggravating circumstance, but it can also be charged. So say that theft during the commission of a murder, you could get an extra 10 years on the sentence for each one, 20, whatever the, like, I don't know for theft in the state of Indiana, what the recommended time served would be on that. I mean, I would assume that it's 6 years, probably the same as like assisting a criminal, like the other ones that she's asking if it's felony murder. Well, yeah, I mean, it's just not said that way in Indiana. So we don't have felony, like felony 1, felony 2, felony 3 murder. We have murder. It's just flat out the word murder. And then when you read the Indiana code, you can look it up for yourself. Like it says intentional killing of another. And then there's 3 subsections, and they haven't added. We don't know what the charging document says, but we do know that the jury has said, charge him with theft as well. So it'd be an aggravating circumstance. It would be more time added on to whatever they charge, whatever he is sentenced to for murder. So,
Oh, sorry. Question for you. Just one more question. And then I'm sure Dottie wants to go eat her dinner soon. The tape that Open Secrets talked about, that Ham had talked to Shar, that said that she had, did that ever make it to the prosecutor's office? Do we know?
Can you ask it again? I'm sorry.
The thumbnail that opens.
The
thumbnail that Open Secrets.
Yeah, the tape that she had, where she said she had it recorded, that Garett Kirts confessed. Did that ever find its way to the prosecutor's office? Do we know yet? Or are you not?
No, I don't know. I don't know if these investigators found it or not, because it should have been it was done from the jail, so they should have record of it. But I don't know if they pulled that or not.
All right. Just make sure they're aware of that. Don't forget as well, because that would be very important, that tape.
Because
that's a good point.
She never sent them to me.
Yeah, she just kept saying, like she thought she was big stuff, and if they wanted it, they could just come watch her YouTube. And I'm like, hello? Like, she legit told me that. Like, she got on my last nerve. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But, like, you just don't do that. This is a family that you should be trying to help, and you're just out here for clout, and I'm over it. I was over it then. I'm still over it. You don't tell, if a family asks you for something like that, you give it to them.
Exactly.
If you're any kind of a stand-up human being, you provide that with them. And she just flat out wouldn't do it. Like, it's annoying. And she had edited it so much that they wouldn't have been able to use it anyway, because it can't be altered. It can't be altered. But the thing is, on the flip side of that, Robert Guy was made aware of it. We don't know if he ever subpoenaed it from the what was it, Newton County Jail.
Yeah,
we don't know. Maybe he did. Hopefully he did.
Hopefully.
I know that I personally, I brought it to his attention, and I think in an email. I'll have to go back and look. But I also, we had a detective in Newton County that really cared about Ray, and he talked to us about Ray, but he was in Newton County and his hands were tied. Same with the prosecutor in Newton County. His hands were tied, like, I'm sure that those those two men right tonight are jumping for joy along with us.
Yeah.
Some really awesome people over in Newton County, and he just did such a good job. And like I made him aware,
Yeah.
you know, like, so hopefully they do have it. I pray that they have it.
Yeah. Radar, what Open Secret says and what she does are two different things. Okay. You know, I've experienced that with Open Secrets. I liked the work she put out. Okay. Because nobody else had done that. But she couldn't keep her word if her life depended on it, to be honest with you. She never kept her word to me ever. So with that, but I don't respect that. But when it's something to do with the family and stuff like that, exactly. It's you make sure that that gets into the hands of the authorities, you know, like the raw uncut version that she would have had. But anyways, she couldn't keep her promise. I just, you know, and Shares kept saying she was going to give it, and you know, so I just wanted to know if that had found its way, or if not, just make sure that they still are aware of that, because maybe they can get the raw uncut footage from that time. Who knows?
Yeah, of course they didn't want to hear it, but they wanted it because they wanted justice for their son, and for her not to move heaven and earth to get them that so that they could have it for themselves is just, I'm sorry, I just think that's really, really shitty. And you know, and I can just remember how panicked the family was, and for her to just keep jacking us around. You know, they asked, I asked.
You don't do that to people.
You just don't act like that. And so like I just get so sick of hearing about her and her stupid interviews. Because I just, you know, it's just one of those things. We've all seen it in this community. Just, you have the people that genuinely do care, and then you have people that just want the subs and the clickbaits and stuff. And that was my first clue with her, that I was like, I don't want to have anything to do with her. She was like, well, I'll come on your channel to give you some clout. And I was like, I don't give a flying fork about clout. I don't even really know what it is. Like, I do this because like, this matters. These lives mattered. And
absolutely,
there should be more. And it infuriates me when a case is only get attention from me. It's so upsetting, because it should be in major media, you know, and that's why I always like crowdsourcing with other people, you know, and it's, you know, people coming out of the woodwork when something blows up is not the same as the people that were here, like all of you in the chat. You know, these names are not they're everybody that's here. You know, there's people here that have followed Ray's story from day one. And you know, like
well, hopefully it picks up in the media. I mean, I sent it to Nancy Grace, Jennifer Coffin, Daffer on my Twitter and stuff like that, but hopefully it picks up in the media. Again, bring Ray's case to light, and if anyone maybe comes forward from it at something that they have something to say, you know, then all the better, because this case has been kind of swept underneath the rug. You know, it's not like some of the other cases out there that just, you know, hit the limelight so fast. But this one, a lot of people, you know, if it wasn't honestly for your channel and some other channels and this channel, most people wouldn't even know who Ray Hanish was anymore, you know. But then you remind them, and then people are like, you know, who's this? Well, you know, it was somebody that deserved his justice, and he's like anyone, a human being. But we all know that it, you know, certain stories hit and other ones hit, and then that's it. And you know, so hopefully it hits back up again, to be honest, and that anyone that does have information will come forward that was part of it or knew about it or something. Who knows?
Right. And no, you know how I get going, Southern Lady. It's nothing like, I don't like sub, you know, like I am kind. I try to be kind to everybody, but when someone I get on, you know, like, and she just did, I don't think that I'm like, you need to apologize to me. Like, I get it. I listen to all of Open Secret stuff too. Like, of course I did. I was forced to. It drove me nuts, but I did it. And like, you know, it's just, how I get, and I just popped off at the mouth, but I don't take it back because it's the truth, you
Well,
know.
her information was one thing, and how she acted was a different thing. You know,
Right.
I the information I listened to over and over many times, but as for respect for her and how she never kept a promise, and stuff like that, no respect whatsoever. I just respect the fact that there was some information there that she did get. So
Oh
it's
yeah, I agree with you.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean there were things, and that's why it was like it just crushed me because I know that like because it was edited, like all of the editing that she did, like it's not
I know.
admissible in a court of law anymore. And
Yeah.
like I was just but someone Ivy I just had it up there here,
Hopefully
this
someone
comment
that
here.
yeah.
So those calls are kept for 5 years. So hopefully they can be used, guys. So hopefully, you know, I
Right.
will call him tomorrow, okay? And I will remind him of that. Thank you for reminding me. I totally spaced all that. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
She kept telling me she had thumbnail
yeah.
of Kurt's confession, but never would send it to me.
And also
Yeah.
Christopher
I mean, we even
Mathis.
offered to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody else that could have done something
Right.
for you instead of causing you grief and more heartache. You know, do the right thing. She didn't
Well
do the
said.
right thing. But yeah, so sorry. What were you gonna say as well?
Oh, just, you know, like well said to you.
Chris Mathis, you were saying?
He had kind of touched on it in those videos too, and she said she
Yes, he
had
did.
more on that too, and
Yeah.
never heard a peep from her. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I appreciate being here with you guys, to be honest with you. Thank you so much, though. Like, I'm not, whenever you're done, you're probably done the live here soon, but I just want to say to Dottie, sharing your, and Roxanne and the rest of the family, like I said, my heart truly goes out to you. But at the same token, I'm happy that this is moving forward for you, exactly what you've been fighting for. And as sad, you know, what I mean, like I said, I mean, I can barely talk right now, to be honest, because I just want to, you know, cry because I keep thinking of Ray Hanish in my head as I'm saying it, and somebody that deserved to be here still, but he's not. And we can't turn back time, but we can fix, you know, hopefully, what lies ahead, and that Garett, Kirts, or whose ever other involvement is, whatever, just justice for Ray. Justice for Ray. He deserves it.
I don't
Thank
know,
you.
Miss Dottie, can you see some of the comments that I'm putting up on your screen? Kim says, God is good. My condolences on your loss, ma'am. There was some more earlier that I've missed, but
Yeah, I can't see them. They're too tiny.
yeah.
Yeah. So now it's just really a matter of time and seeing what plays out. Um, you know, you guys, you know, obviously this has, you know, impacted you in I hate to say a good way, because meaning the fact that you actually heard that there was charges getting laid. So that I'm happy for you for that. This time has finally come in the midst of all your sadness.
Mm-hmm. And then, you
Appreciate
know,
that.
like I can remember you guys because I did a whole entire episode, and I encourage everyone, if you don't listen to anything else, listen to the Getting to Know Ray Hanish. It's the very first episode in the series that I did, and I had Miss Dottie share rocks, and I read a statement from your other daughter, and what she wrote was so beautiful, and I read it on there, and you know, it just basically like you get the spirit of Ray through his family, and his light still remains, and you know, and that's why I chose that for one of the thumbnails for him, because he was just such a light in this world of a lot of darkness, and that he left his mark on this world and showed so much love and openness to helping people. He did it for his profession, and he did it in his daily life with his friends. I mean, I had so many of his friends reach out to me and be like, let me tell you about my friend Ray, you know? And I interviewed some of them on the episode as well. And I've gotten to meet so many people that Ray touched their lives. And you can't help but love the spirit of someone like that soul that is just good to their core. And that's why, like, this case grabbed a hold of my heart, was hearing about Ray. I mean, just looking at his Facebook page, you could tell, like, this is a special guy. His little niece, sent videos of how funny he was, how, like, just he was just a very generous, loving uncle and friend and son. And like, there just isn't enough people like him in the world. And so when one of someone that is that special leaves this earth too soon, the echo of that is felt for such a long time. And so we're just really happy that you guys are finally looking down to, it's going to be a long road. I think you guys are you got to see that firsthand with what Cheryl and her family had to go through to get justice for Nicole. But this is the first step in the next part of your journey. And while you will never get a full closure, this is justice, and this is what is deserved, and meeting it out is what we want to see happen in the next year or so.
Well, that makes me want to ask a question. Dottie and Cher, so let's say Garett Kirts is found guilty. Now, obviously they got 55 years for Nicole Bowen, for his part in Nicole Bowen's. Is there, if it was 5 years he was given, for instance, and the fact that he was found guilty, would that still upset you, or would you just be happy in a sense for the fact that finally at least he paid the consequences, or would that upset you? What is it that in your head you have are thinking about, like, that he will get another 20 years perhaps if he's found guilty? I'm just wondering what you will deem as your satisfaction, even though there's no true satisfaction.
Well, that would upset us because that's what he...
Go ahead, Cher.
Ma.
No, I was just going to say
that would upset us because that would... Okay, go ahead.
I was waiting. I don't know. I hope they don't have this sentence concurring with what he's presently serving.
Right.
I'd like to see it added on to the sentence that he is serving now.
Yeah.
I would feel that was justice, because if they have it concurring, then
right.
he's really not doing any time for Ray if it's going to be included in his time serving now.
Right.
100%.
That's just my opinion.
Well,
I agree. It needs to be consecutive. Yeah.
Obviously, we want him to get more than 5 years, because that's all he was going to get for homicide. So that's why we wanted to go for murder, to get more.
And just from memory, so if I'm off by some, I hadn't had much time to prepare today, but 45 to death is the recommended sentence for intentional murder in the state of Indiana. The average of that, like what they usually ask for the most, is 55 years. But if it is concurrent, then it's pretty much useless in my mind. So definitely consecutive, because you got to remember that Garett Kirts was only 21 when he went to prison and started serving his sentence for what he did to Nicole Bowen. So, and in Indiana, I think it's 85% of the sentence is what he would have to serve before, 65% before he's up for parole. So I will get all of those definitive facts for you guys next week. But, you know, he could get out on parole for the murder of Nicole Bowen and still have an entire life because he was so young when he committed all of these murders right in a row. So we definitely want that sentence to be consecutive because, you know, it's unfortunate that, like, and honestly, when in the state of Indiana, it's almost better that they do it by 55 years, 45 years, 65 years, whatever they decide, because a lot of states will just, and I think it's super shady and I don't like it, but they will just say life. This person received a life sentence. Well, usually that means they got 20 years, but they don't say that to the families. They just say, you know, like,
you're right,
the life sentence, and then the family is taken aback by the fact that they're up for parole, you know. 15 years later, you're like, well, like, what? You know, and it's just so I think that that's, you know, a difference in the state of Indiana is like they don't just say, you know, they got life unless they receive life without the possibility of parole, which means when they say that in the state of Indiana, like, they will never come up for parole. They will never go before a parole board. The family does not have to worry about them getting out on their sentence. But then if this does go to trial, he can appeal any sentence. If he confesses to the murder of Ray Hainish and he is given a decent amount of time, that's really the best outcome because of the appeals process. It's just torturous for families to have to go through this because it's like they're already dealing with the death of their loved one and the tragic way that they were taken from this world and the heinous way they were taken. And now they have to be subjectified to appeals courts and the criminal, the one that did these heinous things, having all of these rights within the system. You know, it's a double-edged sword sometimes. And so, you know, I think that I hope that he, and just, you know, like I can remember when Ms. Cheryl gave her victim's impact statement to Garett Kirts in court, and he wouldn't even look at her. And I mean, and she slammed her hand down and was like, you look at me, and made him look at her. And then he did testify in Ashley Gar's trial, and he was just a smug, like, I'm here, you know, literally looking at Cheryl, smiling at her, you know, like, you're, oh, he was just so
obnoxious.
Oh my gosh. Just no remorse whatsoever, no shame, no, you know, just like.
No, but you know what? The thing is that, I mean, he's the one on the inside. Everyone else is on the outside in a sense, you know? So he can be smug all he wants as hopefully he's dropping bar after bar of soap in there. Personally, is my thoughts. So he could, I can picture that smirk as you're saying it because he does, right? But you know what? Like I said, like I said, I don't know why these people do these things knowing that they're going to end up behind bars. You know, like, really, is it a risk or a person's willing to take? Apparently he is more than once for it. So again, hopefully it's not, hopefully it's consecutive and not concurrent to what he has for Garett Kirts. And again, I'm sorry you guys have had to go through all this because of someone such as Garett Kirts in your life, you know, that have come into Ray's life. So just for me, prayers, you know, for you and your family. And I know you guys probably want to get going, I'm sure. I know Dottie was wanting to eat dinner. And you guys, just so you know, Mel, I'll be hopping off soon. And Jamie Hicks, I can answer you that when I'm back in our live over there. But so my final thoughts for you, Dottie and Cher, are, again, you know, we'll just stay up to date with what's going on. But most importantly, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's about justice for Ray Hainish and, you know, keeping his memory alive and just knowing that, you know, again, what was done to him deserves course, all the justice in the world. But he was a beautiful spirit. Anyone with a brain cell could tell that you just had to look at him and he just shone light. Simple as that. Shone light. Good person. Good-hearted person. Yeah. So to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sunny. Sharon, I didn't mean to cut you short. You didn't get a chance to give, what you would like to see.
Oh, yeah, I did. After
She
you
answered.
was done, I did.
Well, you started to, and then you said, go ahead, Mom, and I was afraid I'd cut you short. I'm sorry. I said, we don't get to pick and choose, but I would like to see his sentence be consecutive, and I would like to see no chance of parole, but I was surprised that they didn't do that with Nicole's case.
Yeah.
So, but we don't get to pick and choose that.
With him being a repeat offender, maybe this will help.
Yeah, I mean, they will use, he's murdered. He's already serving a sentence for Nicole Bowen as a aggravating circumstance. So you have aggravating circumstances in when they're looking to sentence the person. This comes into the sentencing phase, and like you have aggravating and you have mitigating. And mitigating is like, his age would be a mitigating. I can't think of any other good thing that would be on the mitigating side, but aggravating would be theft. 2 counts of theft. Aggravating would be the fact that he murdered Nicole Bowen and he strangled her. So like those things will be able to be used. And that was one of it. I feel so bad. I am totally drawing a blank on the prosecutor in Kentland or Newton County's name. What's his name? Like,
Robert
I should
Guy.
know it. No, that's White County.
Yeah,
I'm talking about in Newton County.
Robert? Oh, no. Oh, okay.
He's brilliant.
Sorry about that.
Is that?
Jeff Drinsky, prosecutor. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It just totally went out of my head. It's been a long day, but yeah, like talk about a brilliant man. Like he did like watching him pull together that trial was so awesome. But yeah, like he had said, like it's frustrating because Ray was murdered first, so if Robert Guy had done like his job, they would have been able to use that as an aggravating circumstance and then seek life without the possibility of parole for Garett Kirts. But now I hope that we're going to see roles reversed. And he got 55. He took a plea by agreement for the murder of Nicole Bowen. And hopefully with Ray, it will be life without the possibility of parole, because this is and the FBI has even changed their profile on, like it used to be 3 with a cooling off period to name someone a serial killer. And it has been dropped down to 2. And I think a lot of that has to do with technology is so advanced nowadays that they're not getting away with becoming a full-blown serial killer. Well, Garett Kirts would be considered a serial killer.
Absolutely.
Once he is once he has been found guilty of Ray Hanish's murder, he is a definition of a serial killer. There was a cooling off period between 2 murders. And this is a guy that also, this is my research, my opinion. This is just how I feel. I feel that he definitely killed Stephen Masterson. I just feel it in my heart that he he had something to do with his death. It would be vehicular homicide.
His friend?
Yes, Steve Masterson. I 100% think that he was behind him that day in his truck, and they had been in a fight, and Steven had called him out on his bullcrap, and then Steven ends up wrecking on the same corner with him happen to be behind him. Like, come on, like you don't get that many coincidences. And he called the police and then he ran. Hello, like there's just things that I wish that they had taken a deeper look at in Brookston with the death of Stephen Masterson. And it weighs on my heart. Like it weighs on my heart. And so that was in I can't remember now if it was like 2014 or 15. I believe that that's when that happened. And, I just think he killed him. And I hope that they will look into it,
kind of like the Murdoch case when they're reopening up Stephen Smith's case. Maybe the same thing could happen for him. What's his name again? Stephen Masterson. Is it? Yeah. Mm-hmm. I know about it. Just I keep hearing Mathis in my head.
Right.
But anyways, yeah. So maybe the same thing could happen.
Motorcycle. Yeah, it was a motorcycle that just happened to go off the road. Like, come on. So when we're looking at Garett Kirts, he definitely deserves to be behind bars for the rest of his life.
People should be grateful that he's behind bars. I'm sure a few other people would have not been living right now if he wasn't. Absolutely. He was definitely on his way to being an SK, even though I saw him as an SK already. Yeah. And unfortunately, it wreaked havoc in your life, Nicole Bowen's life. I'm sure that's going to come to fruition, that he knows answers to Delphi. Whether or not he was involved is a different story, but it has answers there. Like, he just is always at the center. Him and Ashley are just always the fingers always keep pointing to those two, but especially Garett, because obviously there's no proof about Ashley as that we know of for this case. But
they're like those two when they met. It's I've covered some duo couples, and like with pulsar stars, when they get in, when stars are dying and they get into the galaxy or the what is that called? I'm drawing a blank. I mean, these are simple science things. I just can't think. No, like when pulsars, like a pulsar star is created when two stars but they enter each other's gravitational pull. And instead of dying, they become in this vortex of back and forth until they either turn into a black hole or they fizzle out. But and then when these two met and collided, it's like a freaking black hole disaster of where they just both on their own were just full of evil intent, just not good.
And then they collided together.
And they collided and they created basically it's an atomic bomb or a black hole, and that's what happened. And, would it surprise me to find out that Ashley Garth didn't speak up, didn't try to, didn't tell on Garett Kirts for murdering Ray? 100%.
Yeah.
Do I think that she's going to do the right thing and testify if she knows anything at his trial, if it benefits her?
If it benefits her.
Selfish as they come. And if she does know anything, I think that that was part of the reason why Nicole Bowen was killed. I mean, that's just my feeling. I know they said different, but I really do think, based on Nicole's activity on Facebook and when she was calling and how scared she was, and like calling her family and her sister, she called her sister, and she had something to tell them, and then she was dead. Something was really bothering her before she was murdered.
It played into it for sure. I mean, I know in Ashley Garth's appeal, it had said, I'm hearing myself echo somewhere. I know in Ashley Gar's appeal, it said that they had been talking about murdering Nicole Bowen months prior to when it actually happened. And then Ray's came about. I'm sure that it had something, obviously, to get rid of somebody that would turn them in or speak. And so I heard that there was threats on her Facebook from Garett Kirts prior to him taking her life. And
Yeah.
so, like I said, I'm sure that Ray was, because of Nicole, again, was going to probably say something. I'm sure that had a big amount to do with it, and just basically getting rid of somebody that's going to do damage to them, but pretty much.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's just.
He's just a POS. He's just a piece of trash who deserves everything that gets thrown at him. To be honest with you, I have no sympathy. I have no sympathy for people that take other people's lives.
No. No. Do you have any last things you want to say before we go out tonight, Miss Dottie? Can you hear me? Miss Dottie, do you have any last comments you want to say?
I think she fell asleep.
No,
I'm sorry. Yes.
Do you want to say anything on your final?
No, I don't think so. I just, again, I just can't thank you girls enough for all that you've done. Not just tonight, but for 4 years, and it's just means so much to our family.
Well, we love you, so
yeah.
We're glad you came tonight. Thank you for coming and being here with us and sharing, this very it's, these types of situations are called oxymorons, where they're tragically happy, like it's a tragedy, but we can, like have some happiness in this little win that we saw today. So Cher, do you have anything you want to say before we go?
I just want to thank everybody for their support, standing behind us through all this.
Yeah.
I mean, for 4 years, we've had so much support,
Yeah, I agree. Thank you, everybody.
And if everyone can share Mel's live here to your
Thank
social media.
Enough.
Sorry, share.
Yeah.
That's okay.
All right, guys. Well, we're gonna go ahead and call it a night. Are you going live later tonight?
Well, we already are live, so I'm going to be hopping off here, and then in a couple of minutes, I'll be joining Adam over there. So if you want to join us over there, Mel, go
100%.
ahead. Yeah, as for Dottie and Cher, again, go get some rest. Glad to hear this news, even though I know it wasn't supposed to come out yet. And Dottie, go have some dinner. I know you guys are ready. We're going to have some dinner.
It's a long day for them, yeah.
Yeah, but a long day, and hope a day that's, to come some justice for Ray Hanish. So, hugs. Love you both.
Thank you so much. Ginger's before you guys. Ginger sending some love to you guys from It's a Criming's chat. Hey, Ginger, we love you.
Yeah. Okay.
Lots of love, girls.
Is Nicole Bowen's aunt. So yeah, she's awesome. Been through a lot. A very strong lady. She's amazing. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, chat. Thank you for your support of this beautiful family and being so kind in the chat and all of the love that you have sent them. It helps. And please join the Justice for Ray Hanish Facebook group and subscribe to both of our channels. And we're definitely going to be, this is going to be, I know, for It's a Crime and Shame and Cold Truth. This is a case that we are going to cover from, this isn't going to go away. We're not going to just do like a live about it and then it's over. Like we have been consistently talking about Ray Hanish, and we're not going to stop. So please please like, please share. It does help, because when we can get the major media's attention, like that's when things get done that really help these families. So we're just like a stepping stone and crowdsourcing. And that's what I love about It's a Crime and Shame. They're always willing to crowdsource and to build other channels up so that we can share it on multiple platforms to reach the most amount of people. So thank you guys. Thank you, Sunny, for being here. Miss Dottie, Cher, love you guys so much. I will talk to you later. Have a good night. Thanks for holding down the fort over there, Aspen.
Thank you, Adam.
Sending love.
Okay.
You too.
Good night.
Got it.
Good night.
Night, guys. Thank you so much.